Alrighty, so you got a bunch of tabs along the bottom here. This one says within the week. So this is going to be where you're looking at the different phases of the season. I kind of break mine down into 4 phases. We've got preseason, working on things like good fundamentals, good practice habits, aerobic foundation, where we're really trying to build a base. We call it aerobic ceiling, where it's like, okay, you've built your foundation. How tall can you build your roof? And then finally, race pace or taper, however you want to call it. But you'll set the start and end dates for each of these different phases. And you can always, modify it as you need to and revisit throughout the season. But I kind of like to kind of go through it linearly like this. And then over here, you'll just make sure that for each day of the week, you have kind of like a theme. Like, I like Fridays, always fast Fridays. You can put in your more specific energy systems, EN1, SPR1, but I like to break it down a little bit more simply just to colors and heart rate zones. And then over here is going to be the skills that you're wanting to work on those days. So Mondays, we want to work on aerobic kicking, sculling, drilling, and do some turn work. And then depending on how I select these, it will populate over here to the right what that skill and focus is going to be. So if I uncheck turns, it'll take that off. So I can kind of go through and I can look linearly like, all right, I know that we want to do a lot of max distance off the wall at the start of the season and then kind of phase into a speed underwater set. So like here we're working on, making sure we get minimum number of dolphin kicks off each wall. Here we're working on making sure that they're fast. I probably want to do, an extra day of maximum minimum, maybe on a primary stroke day, we'll work on that. And then that's going to add in that skill focus over here. So we go to the next tab, which is week by week. So you just have to put in these 2 yellow squares here. What's the first week number that you're starting at? And then what's the first day? And then it should use a formula to identify what part of the season that you're in based on that. And then you'll type in your phrase of the week or positive practice habit of the week. That's what I'm doing this coming year. It will compile all that information into this giant database. And this giant database, you don't have to touch because it's going to do everything on your own. I include a joke of the day on my practices. So here's like a big bank of jokes that you can have for your athletes. And then finally, this is what I call the Yoda or the Master Spreadsheet. So every day that I want to start a new practice, I'm going to right click down here and say duplicate. And then I'll rename it, if this is going to be, let's say 9/1/22. I'll just name it that date. I'm going to come up here to where it's yellow. I'm going to put in 9/1/22. And it's going to populate all of these different fields. So when I'm writing this practice, I know that today we're doing some recovery work. It's going to be more pink and red heart rate zones, build in some sculling, some stroke count, some breath control, and some pulling. Joke of the day pulls in, positive practice habit pulls in, phrase of the week pulls in, and then I can write my set. So if I write something like this, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to give ballpark time, 425s on 40. That's probably about 3 minutes times 4. I'm going to put in 12 minutes here. 4 100s on 150. That's about 8 minutes around times 4 is 32 minutes. And then I'm going to put in that this is 400 yards and this is 1600 yards. And then down at the bottom, it's going to calculate my total time that I've taken and the total volume that I've programmed in. I hope this was helpful. You can always change the colors and change the images. You just go insert, image in cell, and then you can upload your own team's logo.